What is your name, age, and where you're from?
My name's Medha Chingran and I am 18 and I'm from Delhi in India.
So my name is Maria Clara. I am 18 years old and I'm from Brazil.
And my name is Julie. I'm also 19 and I'm from Slovakia.
My name's Ruby. I'm 20 and I'm from the US.
Hello, my name is Giovanna. I'm 20 and I'm from Brazil.
My name is Malcolm Nyondo. I am 19 and I'm from Malawi.
Hello, my very respected audience. My name is Han Bin and I'm from China. And my age is 21.
Hello, my name is Maria Clara. I am 19 years old and I'm also from Brazil.
My name is Nita. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Slovenia.
Hello, my name is Nathan as well. I am from Brazil and I'm 20 years old.
My name is Ariadna Villavicencio, 18 years old, and I'm from Peru.
Hi, my name is Leticia. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Brazil.
I'm Anna. I'm 20 years old and I'm from Brazil.
Can you tell us a little about yourself? What are your passions, hobbies,
Or what would you like to study in future?
because I believe you structure your gap year based on what you are passionate about or what you're interested in,
And it might help the students who are interested in the same things as you.
My interests are a bit confusing. I'm interested in terms of subjects, I think film. I'm also interested in politics. I don't necessarily know what my passions are. I think I'm still figuring it out. Like I'm figuring out if I like to read. I love watching films. I think that's one of my biggest passions. I think I really enjoy like working with people and social work and talking to people. I think that's, I guess, yeah.
So actually, I'm a person who is very passionate about psychology. Psychology and economics actually have been something I have pursued since I was in the beginning of high school. So to a great extent, that was the reason behind I took a gap year and actually a structure around my gap year between this. And I would say constantly doing volunteers has been a passion of mine, I would say. And I love working with kids, so that's the reason why you could say psychology and economics has been, to a great extent, a reason why I have been chosen. I mean, apart from that, independently, I would say I love drawing, I love writing poetry, I also play the flute, I play tennis for a while, and trying to, you would say, spend time with myself.
I'm a very curious person, so I like to learn a little bit of everything. But my passion is acting, and for the future, I would like to be an actress. Yeah, for college, I would like to study theater.
Yeah, because I'm already in university and I study physics and sociology in my university. It's like I have studied physics for like 4 or 5 years during my high school, but it's like when I came to anthropology and sociology, I was immersed, I got enchanted by the subject. I think it's very interesting. So I decided to take a double major. And it's like I'm curious about both physics and sociology. And that's also led me to some confusions like, so which field should I take in the future? That's part of the reason I took a gap year.
I love anything related to environmental studies. Very passionate about climate justice and food sovereignty and food justice. And I enjoy running, cooking, writing, reading, crocheting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Me too, actually.
I know,
I did
crafty
that in
girl.
Quarantine, but then I gave up.
Lovely. Oh, I love baking. I got on a big sourdough kick this gap year.
I'd say my passions and hobbies revolve around sports and music. I love playing football, I love playing rugby, and I play the guitar as well. And what I want to study in the future is economics.
I guess if you ask me about what I want to study, I have no idea about it. So I think that one of the main purposes of taking a gap semester was like trying to explore and understand more about myself and what I want to do. I still don't know what I want to major in. And like, if I had to say some things about myself, I'd say that I'm a very family person. My family was the real concept of blood family, so I am very grateful for that. And I am also a religious person. I'm a Catholic. And I consider myself a very communicative person with the people that I have a relationship. Just summarizing, these are like 3 main points about myself.
But do you like to go to the gym? Tell us about
Yes, I love going to the gym. I am obsessed with going to the gym. No, they're not appearing.
Not for free.
Yeah, not for free. And I am also trying to have a new hobby of reading. Although it's been very hard, I am trying to, and I am even getting motivations.
As Maria said, my favorite hobby is to read. I am a person that really loves to know about education. So I study a lot, I read a lot about education, and that's the main thing that I want to do in my career. Although I want to major in business, I want to do something related to innovation education and social impact.
I am someone that loves dogs. I love dogs. I love reading as well. First, I need to tell you the guys this. I have a dog. The name is Edgar Allan Poe. And I think you can know what is my favorite author. My favorite author is Edgar Allan Poe. I love all her stories and all her movies and all these things related with creepy things. But as well, I love discussing about education. I think this is my biggest passion. I love discussing as well. I love fighting for this path. And I would like to major in, this gap year that I'm taking here in South Africa. I'm learning more about how to explore this point, education in my country, Brazil. So I'm thinking on explore this more on this gap year and in the college as well. But we're going to talk about it later.
Regarding some of my interests and beginning with my possible major, I'm not exactly sure yet. But for a very long time, I thought I was going to major in psychology because that's an area that I'm really passionate about. But as the years went by and now that college is approaching, I'm very much considering majoring in environmental studies and political science. So a double major, and that's a combination of the fact that some of the things that I've explored the most during my high school years are related to climate education and also everything in terms of human rights with a concentration in period poverty. So those are some of my main areas of interest and the things that I'm planning on exploring once I go to college.
About me, since my childhood, when I remember my childhood, I remember Nathan with a lot of people around me, So basically, I think all my jobs and my passions is based on this, people around me helping the people. How can I improve their lives and trying to change something in my community? Basically, I think I thought already to be a doctor, to study medicine, because I thought improve my community, take care of the health of the society. But I changed already because I think the mental health is a good point, is a good discussion to bring to our society, to young community. So I think my major will be psychology, and my hobby is to speak a lot with my friends. Today is say, stop Nathan, go to your bedroom, close your mouth, because you sit there, because I like to talk a lot with my friends and to hang out with them and forget my problems.
I love to travel, I love to take photos, I love to read, I love to run, and I'm very interested in history, politics, and law. So I would like to pursue either international relations, law, public policy, something along those lines, and potentially get into consulting or law.
I also really like traveling, and that's one of the reasons why I took a gap year. And I'm going to study anthropology and sociology, which is very important for me because I'm really interested in how people work and how societies work. I'm also very interested in education, but unfortunately I didn't get to study that.
Why did you take a gap year?
I took a gap year mainly because I had to choose what I wanted to study and I had no idea at all what I wanted to study. Another reason I also took a gap year is because I felt very disconnected to myself because I'm doing the International Baccalaureate program for school, and that's a painful program to do, and it's very difficult, and I felt like I was constantly putting in a lot of work for academics and I didn't really know what I was passionate about. So I think I took that gap year to find myself, or also to get closer to my culture, because I am Indian, but I lived in Kenya and I also lived in the Netherlands, which is where I'm currently living. So I did always feel disconnected from home. So I was there for a long time during my gap year.
I took a gap year right after high school, and I worked myself to the exhaustion point. So it wasn't really much of a choice. It was more of an advice from my mom, because she did also that on her high school.
Oh,
so
that's great. Wow.
yeah, she was let's just say maybe you take a year off so you can dedicate yourself to college and to your extracurriculars in a year out of school.
In my case, it's a bit different because the academic calendar in Brazil starts in January and ends in December. So technically, I finished at high school last December, and I'm going to college already this August. So I didn't take like a full gap year. It's just a gap semester. As I said, it matched perfect to be here because I was going to college in August. So it wasn't something like I was preparing to take a gap year. But basically, I think the main and the most useful source that you can get from a gap year is get to know more about yourself. And being here in South Africa, immersed in this experience, is the main tool that I thought and I visualized for myself to try to understand more of like who I am and what I want to do, where I want to be, and also to rest a little bit from high school.
For me, it's totally different. Currently in my third gap year, entering the third gap year. I also graduated from high school in December, but my main decisions about taking a gap year was because I thought about I wanted to major engineering in college, but I realized in my last year of high school that decision was mainly because of my father's expectations, because my father really wanted to some kind of engineering, but he didn't have the money for that. So his expectation was to me to kind of realize that dream, but I realized that wasn't what I wanted to do in my life. So I decided to take a gap year and explore more about what I really wanted to do. And it worked. Now I want to major in business, like I said, and I discovered a new passion about education. That is the main reason why I'm here in South Africa, to study more about education.
For me, it was like something related with like knowing more, because I would like to explore, all the feelings that I have and getting to know who is Giovanna, because I think the application process, it was such a good experience to understand more about me. But here in South Africa, I'm discovering much more about me, that I could like cook. I could live with a lot of people. And actually it's being like a time that I'm taking to see if all the experience to study in another country is gonna be good to me. Because here, I'm living with 10 more people in the same house. It's crazy. It's insane.
I live with 16 more people.
Yeah, she lives with 16 more people. So it's crazy. It's insane. And it's nice to know that you're gonna survive and, you can live without your family. You can grow a lot,
So in my case, getting a gap year was actually quite a strategic thing, because I graduated high school in 2022 and then I applied to college, but I didn't get as many of a scholarship that I would need in order to be able to attend it. So in my application, distrust from a very overwhelming high school curriculum and also further explore my areas of interest. But in practice, I got it because I needed to strengthen my application so that I could go to college and receive a better financial aid package. So right now in 2024, it's actually it would be a gap semester, but it's only because I'm just waiting to go to college. But I wouldn't really consider it a gap year in its entirety. My gap year was 2023, which was when I was applying to college for a second time.
Firstly, I am my second gap year. My first gap year was a time to discover who I am, all the versions inside me. I took my first gap year focused to know more all my skills, because I don't know if you know, but neuroscience says we have 9 different intelligence, and some people has levels difference between the 9 intelligence. And so I took my first gap year to understand which one my intelligence I have to improve, to increase, and to know more about me, who I am, what is my passions, self-knowledge. And my second gap year, I took it to improve my skills that I learned in the previous year, and has been so nice for me because it's a period that I am learning so much about me, about how I can live with other peoples and how I can be better, be best for a college, for another community, because I am from different community, so I am used to live in a type of community, but how I can live in a different community. So this is the reason I chose to travel other countries, other regions, to be able to see how the other cultures and countries works and to learn from them. So I think that's it in my gap year, is to learn who I am and everything around me.
I mean, I knew I wanted to take a gap year for the last several years. I was very, very academically driven all throughout, really my entire schooling system. But then especially in the last 2 years doing the IB, I think really took a lot out of me. And I realized that I didn't know, like I didn't have a relationship to myself outside of being a student. And I thought that like building that was really, really important to me before moving on to university. And then also, yeah, like I don't know what I want to study. I don't know what I'm doing. I also wanted time with my family after being in boarding school for 2 years. And I wanted to be able to see theater. Like that was also a huge thing for me. Like I hadn't seen like a live show in like, since like COVID, because like COVID happened and then I went to boarding school.
It's like there is a similar feeling happening over and over in my life. It's like when I get up and I think, yeah, something's not right with my life. Yeah, it's like when I study physics and I read books about the novels and some other fields, about some other fields, it's like I always have a feeling that something's wrong with my life. Or it's like I should live a different life. I should take some adventures. I should do something more interesting. And after I study sociology or anthropology, it's just stronger. And I think I need some time to reflect myself, to read more books, and to watch more movies, and maybe to think about more things. And maybe I will have an answer at that time. It's like if I can't have an answer now, it maybe it's just I didn't experience things enough. I didn't think things thorough. But if I had more time, maybe things would be different.
You know, gap years are still like a little stigmatized. But I will say a big part of me wanted to take a gap year to actually reapply to college, because the first round of applying to college, I just wasn't like my best self. I don't think I applied mindfully. But then also I did the IB at UWC. So I was just quite tired. And I didn't feel like rushing into like a new place for 4 years and kind of like not knowing where I'm going, because what happens is like when you're doing the IB, you're just like so focused on that. And then so applying to college was just like another thing on the to-do list. And I didn't think that the college I chose at the time reflected what I actually wanted.
Yeah, for me it was similar. I also wanted to reapply for colleges. And also I've talked to some people in like a Czechoslovak community about taking a gap year. And they really motivated me. So I was like, yeah, why not? Like finally I will have time to do some things that during studies I wouldn't have time to do.
I took a gap year because to a great extent I was not so sure to what I wanted to study. So I wanted to my gap year be able to work as a way in which I could actually discover myself a little bit more and have a clear idea which were gonna be my, at the end of the day, passions and maybe major or concentration.
I did IB. I went to UWCSA Waterford in Swaziland. So their calendar finishes in November. So I graduated in November and applied to the US, and the US schools start in August. So I kind of got an automatic gap year.
What did you do in your gap year?
For the first part of my gap year, I was back home. So I was in India. I visited the south, which is technically also where I'm from. But I live in Delhi, but I'm also from Kerala. So I visited there with my mom and my grandma, and that was amazing. Oh, I also went to Kashmir, so I also went up really high up north. Anyways, then I went back to Netherlands and I did a job, like a part-time job for a while. And then I was feeling kind of useless because I was like, oh, I'm just doing a job. After that, I was like, let me do something more interesting or more related to what I want to study. So then I applied to Global Citizen Year. So I applied to Take Action Lab and I got in and I came here. And I think that's all I've done so far. But yeah.
That was a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. I didn't mention this earlier, but like maybe the biggest reason I took a gap year was to save money for going to college. So like, because I got a very good financial aid offer from my university, but like I still needed to like get the rest of it. So I spent the first like 6 months working like full time at a fancy schmancy garden, which was fun. It was great. I love being outside. But that was like kind of my whole life for, good half of the year. And then it was nice because I got to take a little bit of that money, see some friends that I had in Montreal, Jesus. And then, and I went to New York and Boston. Like I was able to like just sort of stay on the East Coast, but like, take the train, see some people. It was very nice and spend time with my family. And just like save and chill.
So I don't know how people count their gap years, but I count mine from like after I graduated, which was in May last year, May 2023. So after graduating, I traveled for a little bit. I got to visit a lot of my friends after graduating for UWC, which was lovely. It was such a special time in my life when everyone was kind of like just didn't know what to do with themselves because we didn't have to study all of a sudden and we were so used to it that we just had too much time. But that was a really lovely era. And then most of my friends started to go to college, and there I was kind of like, it was the decision to take a gap year was really starting to sink in. And then I went to Uganda for 3 months from September to December, where I did an internship for a human rights organization that does research and advocacy and also provides legal aid, which was like a big learning experience. I learned a lot. And then for 2 months, I traveled around Southeast Asia. So that was December and January, which was also a very special time in my life. I got to take a lot of photos. I got to see a lot of places. I had to be independent, take care of myself, budget. And then I spent a month around Europe with my friends and family, preparing to come to South Africa. And now I am in Cape Town. And yeah, my gap year is coming to an end soon, and I'm going to college. So that's crazy. Forgot to mention, I'm also, like, the last part of my gap year is I'm coordinating a short course, a UWC short course in Tanzania. So I've also been working on that since like December.
After I graduated also in May last year, I had a pretty normal summer, like the ones I had before. But then I did like a solo trip around the Balkans and Central Europe for 1 month in September. And then I worked in Slovakia for 3 months. And then I spontaneously decided to go to Portugal for 2 months, where I volunteered in a hostel. In Slovakia, I was just having basically any jobs that I had like skills for as a just freshly graduated high schooler. In Lisbon, I was helping out at the hostel. I was doing some maintaining, cleaning. I was helping at the bar, which was interesting. Also, I was a barista before in Slovakia, so that taught me a bunch of stuff. Also being a waitress. Yeah, and I just traveled around Portugal and enjoyed my life in Lisbon.
In my gap year, actually, what I did was throughout the whole year, I worked within an organization, NGO at my country as coordinator of the projects, basically leading them and coordinating them and also assisting them. And it was, I think I stayed with them like for a whole year. And it was a huge learning process for actually working within the own NGO actually I work on and I lead. So that made me get the experience I needed to actually apply it to a good extent. So processes were easier at the same time. So it was like a both trying to work within the NGO and my own, and at the same time was doing an independent research. Not independent, but it was actually backed by the Peruvian STEM Council.
Obviously, for the last 3 months, I've been in Cape Town, been here doing this course. But before that, I can't really say I was super duper busy. I was, first of all, recovering from the IBDP.
Oh, yeah.
I learned how to play golf. Yeah.
Interesting. In Malawi?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
One of my friends forced me to learn, and just
I
happened. I didn't see myself playing, but then that happened. I had been playing football a bit, not so much rugby, obviously practicing and kind of just, I got my driver's license as well. So just things out to keep me busy, pretty much.
That's great. And can you tell a little about the program that you're doing right now? They don't know.
The program is, I was going to say Global Citizen Year, but it is now Tilting Futures, the Take Action Lab. It's an immersive experiential learning program in Cape Town, South Africa. There's a bunch of international students who've all been placed in different apprenticeships around Cape Town with the shared human rights theme, trying to just get hands-on work with how to make a positive difference.
I actually took 2 gap years. Mm-hmm. So this is my second one. So for my first gap year, I liked it because I was dedicating myself to applications to United States. And I think that applications really helped you to get to know yourself. But I also think that I should have spent more time that year doing things that I liked and didn't do that much. But for this year, being here with Tilting Futures and Take Action Lab, I think it's a truly amazing experience that make me grow a lot in my life and in my personal self, my visions of myself. So I truly think it was something worth it. Like, college is important, but it's not the end of your life if you don't go to college. Like, there's so much more that you can do in your life, and I feel like taking a gap year helped me realize that.
I think it definitely helped me a lot. It's like I would like to cut my gap year to 2 halves, the first half and the second. So for the first half, it's basically living in Beijing. It's like where my university is, and I have a close connections with my previous friends, and we cycle and we have fun and it's also like I have some classes in my university. It's like just not for credits and for grades, just for my interest. I still go to my university and to listen to some of my favorite professors, and they could give me some lectures and some valuable knowledge. And for the second half, it started from my independent travel. It's like I traveled around, cycled in China mainland, and I had a 7-day trip in Hong Kong, and I studied Muay Thai in Thailand, and after that is Tilting Future, aka Take Action Lab. Yeah, no, it's like I think through all this, it's like the first half it's like in China mainland and it's like academic, and the second half it's like more adventures. It's more I could traveling and could have a deeper connections with the real world. It's like the book world. It's the real world, and I think that definitely broadened my horizons, and I have more clear decision to my future.
For my first gap year, I was also working on my extracurriculars that I've worked on high school as well. Like I was acting in a theater group. I was teaching kids my religion. And also I started to give lectures, my religious community as well. And I got more engaged in some of the projects that I've already started. Like, for example, I was working in a SAT math thingy, and then I got like more responsibilities on that. I also did some leadership programs like Leadership Academy and Global Citizen Year Academy as well.
So basically what I did in my gap year is coming here to South Africa to take Action Lab. In the first 2 months of the year, I literally just rested. I was like, let me take a break, And when I come back to Brazil, I am really just to chill out and wait to go to college, not trying to put too much pressure on myself of like, I have to be highly productive, I have to find another thing. No, I am just like trying to relax and try to find new hobbies, or also trying to like do some different courses, and that's it. But the only program that I did, like my main resource of knowledge, has been here in South Africa.
I don't really remember. It's been 2 years and I did so many things. So I'm gonna state the main ones. I think my first international opportunity and my first activity in my gap years was Global Citizen Academy. That is mainly like a 3 months leadership course that you do virtually, and the next ones would be like applying for a lot of programs to like improve my curriculum. I participated in Lala in the same year, and for the next year I mainly work at Lala, the Latin American Leadership Academy. I worked in so many different areas and departments, so basically was that. And in my third gap year in this semester, I'm in South Africa, doing working with human rights in a local organization here.
In my case, it was like I participated in some conferences. First, I participated in a conference called Harvard International Relations Scholars Program. So yeah, I participated in this conference. I worked as well. So I was working in an NGO with education and technology. An NGO from Brazil, from my country. The third thing that I did, I traveled to countryside of Brazil, called Paraíba. I went there and like 1 week I spent there with, promoting education with kids there as well. I'm here right now. And I went in October, the end of like 2023, I went to New York City to participate in a conference called Global Peace Summit from Global Peace Chain. And now I am Ambassador of Peace.
In my case, from the very beginning of the year, I worked on my college application, so be it essays, all of the process for it. And then I also did a lot of extracurriculars. So I was an admissions officer at LALA, which everyone's mentioned already, which is the Latin American Leadership Academy. I was a student at the summer program from the School of Humanity. I organized a climate change conference in Brazil called El COI. What else did I do? Yeah, it's a bit difficult to think about it, but overall, it was just many experiences that were focused on climate change mitigation and just period poverty, and like talking about this and just raising awareness in terms of education. And then here being in South Africa as a part of Take Action Lab.
Everyone here is part of LALA, Latin America Leadership Academy program that teaches young people from Latin America how they can learn leadership skills and human rights and how they can develop soft skills. So I work there as a admission officer with Maria Clara. Was so nice. Yeah. Now I'm working there as well, social media. As well, last year I worked at a college in my city, a big college in my city, learning how the college works inside and helping students how they can. I was able to improve the student life. As well, I made part from a lot of meetings, conference, all of them with the focus in education.
So did you ever feel like you were falling behind your peers who went straight to college?
I definitely felt like I was left behind because I was always the intelligent kid. So people were expecting me to go to college right after school. So when I didn't, people were kind of like, what's going on, you know? And also there's this pressure that you put on yourself. So for me, it was definitely this feeling. But as I've got more and more time in my gap year, I got to understand what's more important to me might not be the priority to other people. So I also got to be patient with myself and to actually experience and learn from it.
Yeah, I don't think I'm falling behind with my friends because I think they are envious of me. That's so envious. Yeah, it's like I agree that Avneet said that Asian is not a place that people are used to taking a gap year, especially in college. During college, it's like we have a strong social clock, and everybody has an estimate what time to do what things. But it's like I feel like my friends in college, they are very anxious and confused about their life too. And I think, yeah, maybe it's like, I don't think it's like a fall behind. It's like I take more years to finish my college, so what? It's like, but I have some unique experiences and I have some unique thoughts after this. I think everybody has a way to develop him or herself. So you just need to follow your own cycle. And it's like, there's no rush or there's no early or late in your own cycle. It's like you only have your story and your cycle, and that's the only one.
Can't say strictly yes or no, because like intuitively and like rationally, I definitely knew that this was a good decision for me and that it'll give me time to actually think about what I want to study. It'll help me grow, and I've grown. I think I've grown a lot. But at the same time, I really like to be in school. Like I love learning things. Like I know how it sounds, but like I really enjoyed being in an academic environment. I really enjoyed learning. So there were times when I really missed that because surely like I could like, you know, force myself to read a book or like read the news or read an academic article, but like it wasn't the same. Like there was not that much structure to it. So in that sense, and you know, when I would talk to my friends about the classes they're taking and the internships that they're getting, I was like, oh, should I be doing that? And especially because I'm turning 20 this year. So in my culture, like I'm just like a year behind, but at my UWC, a lot of people start college when they're 18 or, you know, like a lot younger. But I think every time I just come back to the fact that like this is my path and it's best for me. And I feel like I've gotten to do so much and I've gotten to like learn in so many different ways that are just as valuable.
I definitely felt that. Not in the academic sense that much because I knew that I want to go to college after. So I knew that eventually I will get there. It was more about my social life because I definitely felt like my closest friends were from my high school and suddenly they were all going away, moving abroad from Slovakia. I stayed. So that was very challenging for me and I was kind of fighting loneliness as well. But then I found my way through it. Yeah, but I definitely miss being a student. A lot of people say that when you take a gap year, you will not want to go back to college. I never felt like I want to go to college so much as now, which doesn't mean that gap year is bad. And also it doesn't mean that you have to go to college after. I feel like it's totally okay to like totally change your mind.
Actually, No, I did not feel that because I always mentalized myself. There is a reason why I'm taking this gap year. And actually, I was trying to not think about that. But there were actually, I think there were just 2 moments in which actually there were friends of mine who were actually studying and they were learning so many things. And I was like, I also want to go to college and start learning so many things, you know, because I also have a friend who's in Spain, who's studying psychology. So I was like, I wish I was in college to actually be able to learn this and, I don't know, professionally advance.
At least in the first half of my gap year, I felt like that completely because, well, I was working in a grocery store and people were in like, I don't even know, Brown and like other big universities. And I have Indian parents, so they were like, Queen, what are you trying to do in your gap year? Like, Queen, get yourself together. So, for sure. But I also felt very behind during my last year of high school because I felt like people knew where they wanted to apply, and I was like, there are so many universities in this world. How am I going to apply to only a few of them and stuff like that?
You have Indian parents and you were able to take a gap year. That's really supportive of them because it's not normal in India to take a gap year unless you are applying for like JEE or NEET.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, I'm 20 years old. Which is like fine. Like I think in terms of myself, like I know that it's fine. But it's also not always seen as fine, you know? And like I felt behind, I think, more when I was at UWC at the boarding schools that we went to, because it's a 2-year program and I got accepted in my 3rd year of high school. So I knew that right away, like that's my senior year and then a post-grad year alone. And then I also knew I wanted to take a gap year, and that's why I'm 20. So I felt like periodically I've gone through waves of feeling really behind, like for the last like 2 straight years. First watching all my friends from high school graduate and go to college, and then all my friends from UWC graduate and move on. But I also like, I think what really helped me get through that was like knowing that not that I couldn't have done that path, but that was absolutely not right for me to have like either stayed at my high school or to have gone straight into university after UWC. Like, I think I would have burnt out.
Can you share your 2 best and 2 worst memories from your gap year adventures?
I'm gonna have to just go with what's just on top of my head. One of my best memories was recording a piece with one of my friends from school. His name is Usama. We recorded a piece during the sunset on Sunset Rock.
I saw it. It's so beautiful.
I think the whole week that we practicing, but I also did a lot of things. I spent a bunch of time in the CBD as well, which isn't something I'd usually do because I'm usually home a lot. So that was a really cool week. Another good memory has to be, I think, what comes to mind is going to Grand West Casino because there was bowling and ice skating. I pride myself on being a quick learner, but ice skating was pretty humbling. But I think I got a decent hang of it for my first time. Worst memories? I can't say like there have been specific like days or moments that were particularly bad, but 2 things that were just horrible were balancing being here and applying for like my US visa as well as picking a school. Like doing all that parallel has been pretty stressful. I underestimated the process, so I've had some pretty hectic moments with that. But also, you know, cooking for myself is all nice, fun and fresh, but like as an everyday thing.
The best memory, I mean, I'm considering this to a great extent part of my gap year, so I would say like being here with everyone here in South Africa. And I would say that the worst memory was maybe staying at home, like to a great extent, because I was always like with my parents, but not because of that, because having to reconnect with them every single day, being 24 hours with them, because I also was working with them, helping them with the business they have. That made it like to our relationship be like we're business related, but also we're family related. So there were times in which they have to do things. I also had to do things about the business. So it was like, hey, can you also do this? But like we were a family. So yeah.
The worst is definitely when I started my gap year and I had to say bye to all my friends because, like we said, we're both from UWC, so there were like people from all over the world that were in one place for just 2 years and then they leave. So I think that was definitely one of the worst, like saying bye to all my friends and everything. Another one of the worst, I can't think of a specific moment, but I think it was just like feeling so alone in the beginning of my gap year because I don't know, like I felt like all my friends had new friend groups in their universities and stuff like that, and I was kind of starting this entire year for the first time not surrounded by a specific group of people that are made to be friends with me, you know? And I had to find my friends out of my own outlets and like go outside and meet people. It's not like I could just go walk into a building and there would be like 50 people that I could choose from. So I think that was, yeah, one of the worst. But the one of the best is definitely like coming to Cape Town. It's been like the biggest growth for me as a human being. Like I have grown so much and I have gotten to know so much more about my interest in not just social work, but like more just politics and more like, I don't know, also my interest in traveling. I think I've also gained from being here. And another one of the best is the people that I've met here. I can't think of a specific memory because I've had so many, but it's just like, I don't know. Okay, a memory could be like in my room with all my friends on my bed, just like laughing and dying. And like, I think that's one of the things I will take from my gap year.
Being with my family was really amazing. I think like I got like just the arc that we had, I think was really beautiful because for a lot of reasons, like we weren't like not close, but it was like really, I don't know, like my family was in an interesting place when I left, and then I left for 2 years, and then I came back, and like refinding each other I think was really beautiful over the course of this year, and I'm really glad that we did that. And also like, yeah, going and seeing my friends, like living their lives. Like my friend in Montreal is like, she's also on a gap year, so I just got to like sort of like live with her while she was working, and that was really nice. And obviously coming here, also great. So I have a lot of really good memories. Yeah, and then 2 worst is also hard. I think
one worst.
Yeah.
I mean, just generally, I had a really hard fall, I think, like, in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, I had some, like, personal stuff going on, but then also, like, seeing my friends start university was also difficult. And I was still kind of in an adjustment period with my family. I felt like the fall was when it got real, because, like, the summer, it's like everyone's in summer. And then, you know, just a lot of things aligned to make it not.
I would say that my favorite memory is sharing more of my culture and getting to know more of other people's cultures here. For example, when we have like dinners where we do things from our country. For example, I did carrot cake, Brazilian carrot cake with brigadeiro with Maria, and it was very fun to share that with Hanbin and other people from my house. So I think this kind of thing really stick out to me. And about the leadership programs is that the growth and the knowledge that you gain from yourself and the things that you learn about the world and how you can change it, how can you make the world better. So yeah, I think these are the best memories. The worst memories, there is this constant feeling of comparing yourself to other people. So when you look around and people are in college, or maybe even people that are doing gap year just like you, but they're doing much more than you are. So there is this feeling of constantly comparing yourself to others because you're not in a point of your life. At least for me, I was not in a point of my life that where I wanted it to be. And also on my last gap year, on the beginning of this year, no, last year, I don't remember which year it was. Anyway, I have a very big crisis. Like, do I want to do this because all the things on my applications have gone wrong? Like, what do I do with my life? And then it was a very hard moment because I had nothing really to be attached on. And then I realized that I had to do another gap year, but what do I want to do with my life on this another gap year? So yeah, these are the worst memories.
I'm so proud of you now.
Best memories, I think, for the first half year is like some great lectures by my favorite professors, and they teach sociology, and I think that really touches my heart deep, and it makes me know that sociology is just not a subject like science, and it's code. You could learn how to care others, how to care the people around through this subject. That's really beautiful. And for the second part is definitely the tilting future. Yeah, I think it's very hard to separate it to like best memories because it's like it's a integration for me. It's like you have your amazing cohort from all over the world, and you have the diverse city here. It's diverse, it's beautiful, but it's also there are some ugly aspects of this city, and it's all mixed together. But if you really want me to name a favorite memory, I think it's same with Letitia, because I think everybody has their strengths and their shining parts, and I like to see people shine. It's like when I say you have something you are really good at, or it's like you are teach some people something you would like to share. I think that's very beautiful. And yeah, and here it's like we came to encounter that moments again and again for talent show and for cooking and for conversations. I think there are many shining moments of different people here. It's also like, I think the cohort is just so amazing. It's like, yeah, many people, all the people all around us have their own strengths and their shining parts, and I love that. And for the worst memory, it's very hard for me to name my worst memory, because I believe that when you have some time down, or it's like when you are upset, or you feel alone, you feel lonely, I don't think it's a bad thing for me. It's I always think that destroying myself is the first step to improving myself. Thank you. Thank you. It's like I have many times. It's like I'm not emotionally great. It's like sometimes I feel isolated, alone from my Chinese friends, because we used to be very close and we have many conversations. We eat together during the day and we talk together at midnight. But yeah, sometimes I feel alone. But after I'm alone, feeling alone for some time, I feel like, so what about friendship here? It's like I also have many friends here, and maybe I need to share something with them. Maybe we should gather around more. Maybe we should have some meaningful conversations. It's like you always could change yourself and to gain something valuable. And it's like sometimes I feel like why is Cape Town so unequal? It's like there are very, very rich people and there are many homeless. They are live without dignity. I would say that, and that will make me feel painful for that. But after that, I will think from my conversation with Maria, she told me like, yeah, it's not like you have a vision, you're optimistic, but it's like, you need to be more realistic on what you can do. And it's like your vision comes from your practice. It's not from your imaginary. It's not like you're optimistic, so you have a bright vision about the future. It's not that you need to do things first. I think that helped me a lot. And I think that cheered me up at least. And I feel like I'm not saying that everything has a happy ending. It's that everything tends to be a good ending. I'm not saying that. It's just like you could always learn. It's like, it's not you should always learn. It's like, and it's not you could, you always learn. It's like you could always learn. It's like you have some painful experiences, you have some bad memories, but you could learn. And I think, yeah, that's my answer to the worst memory. It's like, I still appreciate for this. It's like my destructive moments, it's like my lonely moments, they helped me construct myself. And they are part of me now.
I love the way you put it, because I agree that you always have to look at things in a positive way. There's always something to be optimistic about, to be grateful for. Even if you're feeling sad, it's okay. You will be okay.
My best memories, one of them was when I was in Switzerland in September, and I got to reconnect with one of my best friends randomly, and she studies in Germany. So it was very spontaneous. And it was the best memory because, first of all, we ate like 3 kilos of chocolate. Second, I really felt like I connected back to her, and in a way back to my high school life, or like the friends I had before. So the loneliness that I've been fighting, even for a while in September, has just felt a bit smaller. Another, I don't know, there were so many good memories, especially from Cape Town and Lisbon. And Portugal, it was definitely going to all the beautiful coastlines. We rented a car and we road tripped for like a few days. It was amazing. Anyway, the worst memories, I think it was in December, where a very close person of mine told me they're suffering from cancer. So that was hard. And then I had some problems in my home. So when I decided to stay in Slovakia, that also meant that I'll not be as independent as I wish to be. And yeah, but I don't want to get into detail about that.
This is hard, because I think this year has been so special. Because I think like I've spent like the past 13 years in school, which meant that like there was a routine of, you know, like from 8 to 2 in school, studying after, doing clubs. And so my life was very routine based. And this is like, there are so many good and bad memories. I feel like I've lived a lifetime in a year, for sure. I feel like I've lived so much and seen so much, and I'm so grateful for that. But let me try and choose two. I think the first one will have to be saying temporarily goodbye to the place I call home. Saying goodbye to Tanzania. That was very special. That was a very, and not like the happiest memory, because it was hard to say goodbye, but a very good one. So I'll count it as one of the two favorite ones. I was there alone for the last few days, and I got to like really reflect on what the place and the people meant to me, what I learned there, and where I'm going next. And then this is so hard. I've had such a good year. But I think, yeah, also maybe a bit different. Like it's not a specific moment that happened, but I think one of my favorite realizations, if that's what I'll choose to call it, is that I've managed to keep the important people in my life, because a lot of my friends are long distance. And I'm going to see my best friend in like a week now, and I'm so excited. And I think that's one of my favorite things, is that even if the distance was so big, I haven't seen her in almost a year, that we've maintained our relationship. Yeah. And then the worst ones, going back home, I would say that was one of the most challenging things I had to face this year. And then also the whole college thing. It wasn't the worst. I'm not saying it's the worst. I definitely acknowledge the privilege of just like being able to apply. But that was sometimes very rough, because it can feel like your life is revolving around this one thing. And once you're out of that, you really realize it's not. Like after January, it just felt like such a weight was lifted off my shoulders.
What advice would you give to someone who is considering taking a gap year but is feeling unsure or hesitant?
I think first you need to reflect on why do you want to take a gap year, because I think it requires a lot of planning for it to be a great experience. For me, especially on my first gap year, when I didn't did as much things as I wanted it to be, I don't think it was a waste of time, but I could have done better. So if you want to take a gap year, I would definitely make sure you have the right reasons to do it. I don't want to specify any right reasons, because there are like many reasons why a person could take a gap year. But definitely I would think of planning a lot and how to get great gap year. I think you should take time on researching on things that you want to do during gap year, and maybe look for programs that you can do on that. Or maybe if you're a very wealthy person, if you have a lot of money, you can just go and do those things. But if you don't, you maybe to look for programs, scholarships, so you can do the things that you want to do. But definitely lots of research.
Yeah, I think I take gap year a little differently from Tisha. It's like I didn't do things like very purposely. It's like just I'm the last round to apply for Tilting Future, and I also know this program very late, and I just apply for that and think, yeah, if they give me a scholarship, and I will go. It's like, yeah, I think I'm confused with my life, and I think I'm not a very planned person. It's like, so I'm just shocked when I see Avneet's plan to do in the Cape Town. It's just so amazing. Yeah, it's like it's for my advice, I would like to say, be reflective. It's like you could rethink everything in your life. It's like you used to live in your country, live with your friends, and live in your society. And you have some standards to live with. But now if you take a gap here, you could live differently. And that's the time you could think what's right and what's wrong, and what life do you want to live. It's a best time. It's a best opportunity for you to rethink these things in your life. And I also think that you should not run away from difficulties. It's like some people may say that you take gap here because you don't want to face the things in your future. It's like going to college is very hard. I don't know what we will say. It's just like forget about them, but it's just like you need to develop your ability to overcome the difficulties. It's like when you take a gap here, yeah, you could have leisure. Definitely, it's like you have your own time, but it's also like don't run away from difficulties. It's like when you meet with difficulties, I think it's your own responsibility to encourage yourself to overcome it. Yeah, it's like because you have too many excuses for running away from it. It's like, yeah, I have other things to do, blah blah blah. But I think I don't like to run away from difficulties. Like I don't look for difficulties, but when it happened, I tend to think how to overcome it. And I think that's maybe some of my thoughts is like be strict with yourself sometimes. It's not like be strict with yourself always. That's too that's too burden. But it's like you need to be strict with you sometimes. And I think that would make your gap year help you grow more. Yeah, thank you.
You said you don't plan your gap year, but you have traveled half of your gap year. So did you not plan the itinerary? How did you manage the finances? Are you rich? Are you hiding something from us? Tell us. Because a lot of people on their gap years want to travel.
Yeah, for my independent travel, it's like the place I choose is some place that is cheap. It's like Thailand. It's like Thailand is very cheap place to travel. It's like especially I travel to Chiang Mai. It's not the capital of Thailand, but it's still beautiful and very good to work and to live. And for my plan, it's like I'm not a very plan ahead person. It's like just I have some interests and I will think about it. Very soon I will make decision. It's like so what will it cost? It's like if I just fly to Thailand, it's okay. It's like I could find something interesting there. It's like if your life is, I think my high school is boring for me. It's like Avneet, I spent too much time on grades. But as for university life, I don't feel it boring because I think if you attend a college, you still feel it boring. Maybe since didn't go wrong with the college, maybe since go wrong with yourself. Yeah, because you have more freedom. It's like you could manage your life when you attend the college. If you still feel bored, you should rethink yourself. That's what I saw. And it's like for my money, it's like I'm not a very rich person, but I have a job to do. It's like because I study physics very hard in my high school, so I teach students in China mainland physics online, and that makes me have money for my independent travel. It's like when I travel in Thailand, in Hong Kong, even in Cape Town now, I have my students waiting for me to teach them some physics every weekend. So yeah, I have a way to make my money. So I'm not that cautious to make plans. So it differs. If you have some, I don't know, if you have some ideas or if you and also you have some work to do, then you could be more deliberate, more careful. But if you are on a tight budget, or it's like you are very afraid to waste time or money, then you should be more cautious. It's like I'm not that cautious because I think life is about experience, and what I will experience depends on what I learn there and what I think there, and I'm believing in myself. Will you believe in yourself too?
Work and save money and then travel. Be like Hanbin. I will be so anxious if I don't plan. Maybe you're just a man. You are a man. That's why it's easy for you. It's easy. Like I will fly in the country and then I'll find something interesting. But for me, no. I need to look for a place to stay. I need to find somebody to go with me. I cannot go alone. Maybe just this culture thing.
I partly agree with you. It's like some of my female friends is still think the same way. It's like it's not very safe for them to travel as deliberately as I am. It's like I'm very open to living hostel. It's like in the youth hostel, it's very cheap, and we just live together. But it's so dangerous for girls, and I admit that's the truth. But summarize, it's like I admit what you said, and I partly agree that what makes like boy more deliberate on travel things. But still, it's like I think different people live different lives. I think that the differences between genders is not that big as difference between persons.
Say, take a gap year. Like just want to touch the point of like coming from Brazil. We are not used to have it. Like, I think in other countries, yes, of course, but we in Brazil, we should like leave the high school, graduated high school, and just go straight to the college. We have this culture. So when you come from like countries that have this background, this reality, it's difficult. You break this bubble and you say, no, I'm going to take a gap year. It's such a thing that you have to be brave to do it. And I think we are all brave to be here, you know. We're like trying to explore different things in our lives. We're trying to touch people to approach people in different ways. So just taking a gap year, I think, in my opinion, it shows that you are someone that really would like to take risks. And like college, they really like it. Sometimes you say, okay, I participated in this conference or I got this very good grade. But when a college see that you're like brave enough to take a gap year and to go to another country and to expose yourself to risk, they're gonna see you with another eyes.
First of all, I would strongly advise in part of it. But first, I would say that it's extremely important to have a thorough plan. Because if you're working towards that because you want to become a stronger applicant for colleges, or even if you just want to like figure out what is it that you're passionate about, if you don't have a specific plan, it's very easy for time to go by and for you to not really achieve those things. So really plan in the long run, because that is extremely important. So go ahead, do it, but plan.
Actually, I totally agree 100% with Giovanna said. Sometimes I think the education system in Brazil is very unfair to apply to other colleges in other countries, because they don't teach us how to apply, you know. They only give to us like the subjects, and we don't have the pen, the pencil, you know, to write our own history, you know. So I think the gap year is the time we are the writers of our own history. So how do you wanna introduce yourself to the others, you know? So I think the gap year is this time to write your history, to write your plan, to write who you are, and to show to them, to the college, what else, to other place. And I think it's good, you know, because how I said before, is the time to, what I wanna do? I am the writer. I am the person who wanna create my own history, you know? So I think the gap year is the moment you have to, okay, I wanna do this is this, because I love, because it's connected with my passion and hobby. So I think it's a good idea.
My advice would be, if you need help, take help. Is basically about everything. If you are struggling with essays, maybe do a course with the college essay guy, or like maybe you are struggling to keep it up and don't have a schedule, maybe ask someone that has been through the process. It was in the beginning of my gap years, it was really hard to take help because I thought I should do everything alone, but that's not true. You should take help. And I also say this because it was a really difficult time for me, and I actually have to go to a lot of therapy sections to work on that. And so if you are not feeling well, feeling anxiety, please take help, go to a doctor, a person that can help you, because this time can be really, really difficult because of the instability. You don't really know what you're doing and if this is gonna work. So this can be really difficult for some people. So take help if you need it.
Take it for real, you know. Don't just like, okay, I'm gonna be sitting here in my bed the entire day and let's see what's gonna pop up. Like, okay, of course you can and you should rest, but really try to use your time the most to understand more about yourself, you know. Don't just, like, as I said, stay there waiting for you to get more knowledge about yourself, or waiting the most important opportunity, or like try to understand more about yourself. No, go for it, you know. You got it, you got the time, you have this opportunity to take the gap year, so explore it, like dive into it.
Well, I still have to go back to the fact that my gap year wasn't optional, but nonetheless, whether you're forced with one or thinking of taking one, what I would say is just be very intentional and purposeful about taking the gap year. You know, time comes and time goes, and time isn't to be wasted. So long as you're like aware of the thought process behind your decision, you need to take confidence in that, and if you have that, you'll be able to make your time count. Obviously, I knew I was going to be home for 9 months, and I didn't know if I would be in Cape Town. I only found out in December. Yeah. So that was in the air, but even if it wasn't, I think it wasn't necessarily like a to-do list, but just like a mentality. It was just an awareness that I have 9 months, a very unique 9 months, where I have no academic obligation, nor do I have any professional obligations, nor do I have any like family obligations. And so it was just, how can I make it count whilst being restful? Like, do I want to commit to football, commit to the gym? How would I go about doing that? How do I want to be creative? How do I want to be spiritual? How do I want to make sure I'm still spiritually growing as well? So just keeping in with myself and making sure I don't get to a point where it's like some long holiday and doing nothing with it, making the days count.
I would say it depends on you. at the end of the day, if you're taking a gap year. And if you want to take the risk, go ahead, quite literally. If there is this doubt about getting into a gap year, I think that's the main reason why you should take a gap year. Because I think there is time for you to explore more things about yourself. At the same time, build a better CV or resume if you want. And maybe meeting people and yourself to a great extent. I would say that's a great part of the gap year. At least in my case. I learned a lot of things about myself and also about my friends and my family. So I think that's great.
I think take it, but I think that's also a privileged answer because for a lot of people, you know, the family reasons, financial reasons, whatever, they can't take a gap year. So I think not considering all of that, I would say if it's just a personal thing and you're not sure whether or not you should take it personally, I would say that you should, because I don't think that there's anything horrible that could come out of taking a gap year. I think there is a learning from everything, and I think that if there is some part of you that wants to take a gap year, that's already a calling enough to show that maybe that is the path for you, at least for now. And I think that you can always make something beautiful out of something uncertain. So I think instead of maybe committing yourself to a degree that you're not even sure about, I would suggest gap year is the right answer.
If you're doubting what, like, if you want to take a gap year or not, I think that you have to really look in yourself and ask yourself like where those doubts are coming from. And if it's for things that, like, I'm sorry, are like not like not unimportant, but like a little superficial, like I'm gonna be so far behind all my friends, like it's 1 year. Also, no one cares about PG. No one cares about like your age once you're in university. Like you're all just like, it's like a different, it's not like high school. Like you're just all like taking classes and learning, and like it's not gonna matter once you're there. Also, you'll have like kick-ass stories even if you like stay in your hometown, like you just did your own thing. That's so cool, you know? But if it's for like other reasons, like I don't know, like my family might not financially support me in college if I take a gap year, then like that's real. And like don't take a gap year, obviously. But like yeah, I agree. Like it's so worth it, I think, for so many reasons. So I would highly recommend.
It's gonna be so cliche, but really think about why you want to do it and what you want to get out of it. And that goes both ways. Yeah, so like don't feel forced to do it or not to do it. Like don't let people around you dictate what you decide, because there are environments that are very strongly against gap years, and then there are environments that are going to be like, oh, you should definitely do it. Just listen to yourself. Really like think about, am I okay mentally? Am I okay physically? Am I okay academically? Can I like get into a new environment right now? And also financially, I mean, that's also very important. Like, is this going to be a burden to my family? Is going to be a burden to myself? Like, am I actually like able to do this? But I'm a big defender of a gap year if you can take it. I think it was the best decision I've made for myself at that time, and I'm so grateful I could do it. So if you feel like this is something that could help you, don't feel afraid to fall behind, because you're really not falling behind.
Very interesting what you're saying, because I can have a different opinion. I think a lot of people think in advance about their gap year, what they're going to do, what month they're going to do everything. And I didn't have it planned. I knew one thing that I want to do, and that was Cape Town. Except for that, I didn't have it planned, and it went very well. For sure, there were moments where I was like, maybe I could have thought about this before, but no, in the end, it turned out very well. I wouldn't have one of the best memories of my life if I just followed the plan. Second, I would say definitely surround yourself by people who are also taking a gap year. Because first of all, they can give you like specific advice on some moments. I don't know, you will have like this kind of supportive little community where everybody says you that gap year is not normal and you should not do it, but you're already in it, that you can just go back to and talk to them.
Very much agree with what you said about not having it planned. I decided to take a gap year, like fully decided in July. So like when, in my definition of my gap year now, when my gap year already started. So if you trust that you are a person that can figure things out, you can very much figure it out. Like I was able to plan things even though I had like 2 months, you know? And then also what you said about surrounding yourself with people who are in the same situation, that is so important. And I think I found this here now, but I didn't have that until like February.
Same.
until I came into the TEL community. And it was very lonely at times because, of course, you talk to your friends about it. Maybe they're long distance friends, maybe they're friends who are not in the same situation. And it's a very peculiar situation because you feel like you're falling behind and everyone's going to be like, oh, no, you're not. But then your friends are also in college. So, do they understand what you're saying? And it can also, for me, there was a time when I was just not surrounded by teenagers at all. And I was just surrounded by a bunch of adults, and that is something you're not used to.
Yeah.
And so that is amazing advice. Yeah. Definitely find yourself a community of people that are in the same boat, because that'll also open up so many doors because they know about opportunities. They'll give you ideas on what to do, and you'll understand them in a way that you don't understand your friends or other people because they're just not in that situation. And it's just a unique connection you're able to build.
Yeah. I also want to add something. Don't take a gap year solely because you want to apply to college, because I've seen so many people, they're like, I will prepare for SAT, I'm gonna do activities that will look good on my application, then apply to college. Don't do that. If you are one of that person, don't take a gap year. It's not worth it. Try to do something else. Find another reason why you want to take a gap year. Do some things you did not do before while you were in school. So
you can do both.
Yeah.
I mean,
but not solely because of college.
Yeah, definitely. No.
What are your post-gap year plans? Are you going to college? If yes, where?
I am currently in the enrollment process to Northwestern University.
I was conditionally accepted to University of Amsterdam, so I will probably go there in September. We'll see, because maybe some of you know, Amsterdam has one of the biggest housing crisis in the world. So we'll see if I manage to get affordable accommodation. And if I don't, I will take another gap year. And then I will apply to colleges also at home. So, and maybe some other ones. I don't know. I don't have a plan again.
I'm going to college. Yes, I'm going to college. I'm going to Whitman College. Yay, guys.
I'm going to college. I'm studying. I'm going to Vanderbilt University. Woo! This August, which is in 3 months.
I'm going to college in Amsterdam, and I'm going to study liberal arts and sciences. Clearly, I've still not figured out what I want to study, and that's okay. That's perfect. Yeah. Amsterdam University College.
I'm going to Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon.
On a full ride.
Yeah.